Happy Friday. How are you?
I'm okay.
You're okay. What's new?
I don't know, nothing yet.
Nothing yet. We're just gonna slowly wait for people to join in. We got quite
I
a few
gotta get
people.
my video going here.
Yeah, yeah. Always takes a couple minutes.
There we go.
How are you guys?
Oh, I'm just, oh my goodness.
Tired, I know.
I'm not used to running like I ran.
There we go.
Okay, so why don't we introduce yourselves and your band, and we'll wait for everybody else to come on in. I know who you are, but not
Who
everybody else
starts?
does. Yeah, you start. Go ahead, Joe. Or not. Nathan, go ahead.
And,
All right, I'm Nathan.
oh, okay.
Oh, you cut out
Oh,
there,
you
Joe.
did it. Okay, I'm Nathan. I'm from Void of Solace. I'm from Kitchener.
It says the internet's unstable.
Okay.
And yeah, we're just trying to get some jams going.
So you're local out of Ontario. Wow, that's awesome. Welcome. So glad you're joining us. We got Ashley, my friend. She's out of Florida. And of course, Ben will be joining soon. Joe, again, do you want to repeat that? Where you're from and what band?
I play lead guitar for the
Axe Master.
Yep.
That's right.
Master, and we're from the Akron, Ohio area.
Akron, Ohio. Ashley, how are
There
you,
we go.
hon?
Good. How are you guys?
We're good. We can hear you, but we can't see you.
I gotta figure that out. Okay, there we go.
There you are. Hey, Ashley, this is Ashley Price, and she's from Florida. What's going on?
Hey guys.
Hey,
Yeah, lots of fun stuff.
Lots of fun stuff. So,
Oh yeah.
So we have joining us today. We've got Lips, of course. We've got Nathan, and he's out of Kitchener. The band name again is what? Sorry.
Void of Solace.
That's
it's
it.
an acoustically driven project.
Awesome. And we have Axe Master Joe Sims joining us from Ohio. This is awesome. We will have Ben joining us very soon. We're going to start a new aspect to the show, guys. What do you think of this? We're going to do a trivia game.
Ooh, sounds fun.
Ask you all a question, and we'll divide up some points at the end of it. And we had a thought too, maybe we would do like band trivia episodes. So we have two battling bands come on, and then they do some trivia, and we see who's smartest.
I wish our singer Jeff was here. He's the metal trivia guy.
And they're not music related questions. That's the fun part of it. Yeah. So I just wanted to ask what's going on in your guys' area as far as shows and what you guys are working on right now, maybe. I want to start with Lips. What have you been working on in the past week?
Well, it's really hard to hear anything right now because all I can hear is Ashley breathing
Ashley,
and cutting everybody else's sound off.
as much as we want to hear you breathing hot and heavy, come on, girl. Can you take the headphones off or what? Are they hooked up?
Yeah, they're new, so yes.
Super loud.
They were super sensitive. Wow.
I know. Sorry, they're new. I
All
was
right.
testing
Well, let's go ahead. What have you been working on this week?
What are you asking me?
What have you been working on this week in the studio?
Our set to play for the upcoming tour.
Yeah,
Haven't played live in years, so I've got to put all the bits and pieces back together.
yeah, I bet. Are you nervous about it a little bit? No, you're just so excited, I bet. Yeah, he's got a great tour coming up, and it was on again, off
Go
again.
back to work, go back to normal.
Going back to normal, yeah.
Fucking time.
So Nathan, what have you guys been doing during the pandemic, and how have you been getting by? Coping.
Well, we did come out with an EP, just really pretty much a little ways into the pandemic, which we had in works for a while, so that wasn't going to stop it. So we still did the EP and everything. We just didn't have any shows for it, which was little disappointing for us, but we just jam when we can, and it's like it's a little bit less often as it was, but it's still good. We'll get together well, and yeah, so we're just working on some new songs, and Jesse or myself will come up with new riffs and stuff, and even a little bit of keyboard ideas, which were pretty cool recently.
Wow, that's awesome. I think that coming up and out of the pandemic right now is going to be exceptionally hard. I think you're all familiar, if you're from my area, with the venues of Toronto. I spoke today with the Opera House, and new bands 3.5 years out. 3.5 years to book
Holy
a day
crap.
at the Opera House. Okay, and that's not even Toronto's biggest venue. It's just one of their more fun ones. They are willing to actually do some charity work with me and hopefully get some people in there despite that. So that's the kind of barriers we are dealing with in Canada as far as trying to get people booked and toured that are up and comers. And I mean, and that isn't even if you have a big name attached to you, So we are facing a really big uphill battle, I think, as far as booking and touring and doing stuff. And it's, Joe, you're in Ohio. Ashley, you're in Florida. You guys are currently looking at shows and things are open and people are moving about. As much as I love you, it's just like, how do we do that here? And yeah, welcome, Ben.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Not
Hey
too
there.
bad, not too bad.
Hey, it's good to see everybody.
Good to see you.
Unfortunately, today I'm on my telephone, so it's a little bit of a technical
You're
hassle.
giving me a rocky ride there for a bit. You went sideways.
Yeah.
I was
so we
hoping I could get that full, cinema shot.
It looks good. Looks
All
good.
in HD.
No, absolutely.
Just introducing everybody and letting them, just asking them what they're doing. The next question I had was for Ashley as to what you're doing in Florida right now. You're working on.
A bunch of different things we're dabbling on. We got done with our show last month at the 1904 venue, which went amazing. I couldn't have been more proud of that, me and the team. We have another one coming up at Eclipse, July 30th, setting one up for the Haven September 3rd, and then we're working on an October show too. So things are really like branching good for the company and everything. And so.
We definitely have to talk some more. The Haven is one of the most iconic little bar in Florida. I mean, it's in a tiny strip mall and everybody I know plays there, and they've been kind enough to even donate me a night during full lockdown. I had Mind of Fury go in there and record an entire concert there in full lockdown for donation. That's a really epic place. Florida is really, an amazing place for metal. So anybody I work with, I do my best to try and get them down to Florida for sure, because who doesn't want to go to Florida? But Ben, I was just telling everybody about the trivia game too, and I think the idea is going over. That's kind of a great idea. What do you think about that, Lips? Having bands on to battle for wits.
Having bands on what?
Having two different bands on, a few members from two different bands, and we ask them trivia questions and we turn it into a game show of sorts for half an hour, 20 minutes.
Bands
each.
are bands.
And what do you win?
I don't know. I've been awarding Pop Pixie points. I'm not sure if bands would donate me some more merch. Maybe I could do some merch giveaways, but I don't know.
Where you
We'll
live,
figure it out.
Depending where you live, you might win me on your couch for a whole week.
Right, there you go.
Well, I'll tell you how we're going to do this, right? Okay, there's going to be like 4 answers, and I'll just give you guys an example, okay?
Yeah, here we go.
All right, these are kind of like messed up questions, and I didn't get a chance to go
No, you
through
have
it.
to do the one you asked me
Sick
before.
one. So remember A, B, C, or D, and I'll give you the options.
A,
all
B,
right?
C, or D. Okay.
Now, male ducks' penises have to have a shape most similar to what? Is it A, a baby carrot? Is it B, a piece of penne pasta? Is it C, a mushroom? Or is it a baby, or is the male duck's penis more like a corkscrew?
I'm
So-
gonna say corkscrew.
Okay, so Kelly says A, corkscrew.
I'm gonna say C.
C, okay, a mushroom,
I'd say
Mushroom.
A, I guess.
a corkscrew. Okay. Oh no, A was a carrot. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
a carrot.
D,
Okay.
D is a corkscrew.
Oh. Yeah, I'll go with carrot. What the hell?
All right. Well,
Nathan?
has anybody not answered?
Nathan
said
and Lips.
Mushroom.
Mushroom. Okay. Well, actually,
Lips, what do you got?
I wasn't listening.
Well, you better
all right.
repeat the
One more
question.
time for Lips. Lips. A male duck's penis has a shape that is most similar to what? Is it A, a baby carrot, B, a piece of penne pasta, C, a mushroom, or D, would it be a corkscrew?
Corkscrew. Corkscrew.
Okay, well, Kelly and Lips got a corkscrew. Apparently, a male duck has a penis shaped as a corkscrew. And
My
Look,
second
time to
guess.
lose.
I
myself.
know this because I collect weird things in jars, and I actually had a possum penis in a jar at one point.
Me too.
And
Interesting.
seriously, me too, me too. But it has like two prongs and a fork at the end, like a double fork, man. It was the weirdest little thing. I don't know why I had it. I had rabbit eyeballs and skulls and all kinds of stuff in jars, you know. But yeah, awesome. All right, so we're in the lead, Lips. We're winning. All right, I like this.
Well, no, the girls would know that question.
I don't know where or how I knew that, but I didn't.
All right, here's
How did you know that?
I don't remember from where I got that stupid information from.
I also was in West Virginia for a little while where they eat possum there on a regular basis in roadkill, and I've actually seen one, so I just kind of cheating.
Oh, well, no, that's fair. If you know the answer, you can say it. I guess I've never looked like underneath the duck, but
Every time I tell
so-
my one friend a story about West Virginia, I started with, when I was in West Virginia. It's like, that's a song. Like, right, like, just continue writing that.
Have you ever seen moths balls?
Oh, wait, what balls?
Moths. Moths.
moth.
Moth?
No,
Balls.
no. Oh, moth
Put his
balls.
legs apart.
Prairie oysters. Does anybody know what that is?
No.
That is bull
Oh,
testicles, and it is delicacy in Texas.
Yeah.
And gross.
I've got, man, I won't tell it here, but I got a story from high school about mountain oysters.
There you go. There we go.
Tell it,
And why
tell
they
it.
call them oysters, I don't know, because they're no gem. Let me
No, tell it.
All right. But you have another question.
You want me to tell it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. Actually, yes, I do.
Okay, well, in high school, my grandpa was from the hills in Pennsylvania.
There we
you
go.
hear-
That's close. Yeah.
And he used to say that when they were younger, they'd eat mountain oysters. And my one friend would always got on him about it. He was always saying, you know, hey, Pops, you got any mountain oysters?
Oh.
So we got a fruit basket for Christmas, and there were these apricots that were peeled in this juice, and they had little things in them that looked like veins. And I took the
Those are
thing
not
up and I
apricots.
stuffed it all up, and I told the dude, okay, you said you'd eat mountain oysters with Pop. Here's some mountain oysters for you to eat. They were apricots. He took a bite of one of them and threw up.
That is hilarious. See, good things come in jars, man. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. I got some good things in jars yesterday. I was showing you that jar. Anyways, so this is an interesting one. This is like a for like a social type question, a sociology type question. How horny are people at weddings? On average, this many guests hook up.
Wait.
with
Charlie
other
Humbert is joining us. He's late. I do apologize. He's from Rid Mall in Oklahoma. Charlie, can you hear us? Charlie?
Charlie, can you hear me?
Charlie, can you hear me? Hey,
Kelly, can
Charlie.
you see me?
All right. Well, sorry about that, folks. So I guess just we'll continue with the question then, Ben. Oh, wait,
Horny
Charlie, are you
people
there?
hooking up at weddings. What
Wait,
is
wait,
the
Charlie, are
average-
you there? He's connecting. Hi, Charlie. How are you?
Hey, man.
Okay, so what's
Hey.
going on is we're playing a trivia game, and the winner will get some Pop Pixie points. So Ben is going to ask us a question, and they'll be ranging from A, B, C, or D. And the last one was hilarious, so prepare yourself.
All right. Brace yourself for a really tough sociology question. How horny are people at weddings? On average, this many guests hook up with other guests at weddings. Would it be A, 5% of the guests? Would it be B, 40% of the guests? C, 55% of the guests? Or D, 20% of the guests? So what is it?
Single
5%
guests or
would be
married
A,
guests? Now, are married
40%
guests going to go home and be horny if they're at a wedding, you know, and they're already married and they're like, I don't know, that didn't really do it for me. Are single people the ones going to be all excited about it?
So if there's 200 people at this wedding, okay, or let's say 100, so that's 100 people at the wedding. How many of those people are going to hook up?
Well, that'd be
5%
tough at
A, 40% is B, 55% is C.
5%. Somebody's
I
doing
want
something
C.
weird.
I say C.
Okay, hold on. Let him
And
finish.
20% is D. So it
20%.
drops a little there.
50%, it went up to 50% at C?
No, okay. A is 5, B is 4, C is 55, and D is 20. Okay, Charlie, since you just joined us, you can answer first. Do you think 5% of the guests at weddings hook up, 40%, 55, or 20%? What was your answer?
55.
55%. So that's C, 55%.
Yes.
Ashley,
Yeah, C.
D, 55%. Joe.
I'd say 4% because at all the weddings I've been at, we were so damn drunk we probably couldn't.
Okay, you mean so 5%. That was one. There was 40%, and then it was 5. So we'll give you. So you're A, 5%. Now,
I got
Nathan?
5% too. 5%.
5%ers. Okay, Nathan.
I'm saying D, 20%, because that's a safe answer.
That's what I was going to go
Okay.
with, too.
Smart. Well played. Kelly.
I was going to say D, too, but, you know, I don't know. 5 is looking smarter. I'm going to say D, though. That's my first thought.
Good for you, Kelly, because you and Nathan are correct with
Whee!
20% of people, D, hook up at weddings. You guys are all a bunch of horn dogs saying 55%.
I knew it wasn't too high, you know what I mean? Because the married couples are probably like, nah. But I mean, how many people hook up at concerts? What would be the percentage of that?
Jeez.
And at metal concerts specifically, seeing that, you know, 70 or 80% of the crowd is male.
The only one I ever did was after I played.
I don't know. I mean, well, excluding the band, of course. Now, come on. That's a different story altogether, right?
Well, I guess I can make one disclosure. I remember at my sister's wedding, may she rest in peace. Everybody was, you know, my parents hired a babysitter for my niece and nephew. And everybody said, hey, where did Ben and the babysitter go?
No, no. That
It
is
was
when
in
you
a
get
hotel.
illegitimate children you don't know about showing up at your door.
Well, at that point, they were being watched by somebody else. So.
Yeah. Hey, Ben, did you catch that, though?
I didn't.
I said that's how you get 20-year-old children showing up at your door that you didn't know. That recently happened to Ben.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I've always been afraid of that.
How many do you think you guys have out there running around due to this fun fact? But
Any guesses?
any guesses? Are you're gonna have
No,
to
not
drop
for-
out and join a ska band, man. You have all these little bit of children running around.
I'm too scared to even guess.
Okay. All right. So who has ever conceived a child on tour? There's a good question.
Not me.
No.
No, Lips?
Not that you'll
I've been
admit.
on tour, though.
Not that I know of.
I don't know,
I'm right
right?
there with you.
So Nathan, you're a youngin', so you be careful. Keep that in mind that, 20 years from now.
20 years from now, I'll be 55. or
Holy
something.
crap, you look young, man.
That's
Yeah.
how old I am.
I'm not revealing that.
I'm likely gonna be a gardener, but
You look like you're around 50.
Me?
no, I said,
Okay, we're just gonna mute Nathan. He's never allowed to say anything on my show ever again. He just called me
No.
50 years old. Me?
No, I was talking about the gentleman there that said he was 55 there.
Lips. Oh my God. Okay.
me?
No, the other guy. The other
Me.
guy.
Me.
Yes.
You're 55. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, you could stay then. All right. You don't ask a
So-
woman to rate.
So Joe, any prospective children out there you don't know about, or don't?
How do I know?
How do I know? How did I know until they come
I realize
knocking,
I
right?
phrased that kind
the
of
key.
odd.
That's the key. That's the key.
It'll be
I
on your
wonder
next
how many
show.
musicians have had that
Maybe,
happen to them.
maybe not.
Ashley, I don't know what to say to you because I know you would know.
You would know. You
Yeah.
would notice.
Isn't it?
Mama's baby, Papa's maybe.
So Charlie, you want to share this?
Had her the old-fashioned way. Got drunk.
Were you at a show though? Were you at a show? Oh.
House party.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Hey, we played at house parties.
We played at house party. Gee, you just get around, huh?
Wait a minute.
This
My
yours?
daughter looks kind of like you. No,
No.
that was over the line. Sorry.
What was the craziest party you've ever played, Lips? Have you played house parties? Private events?
Yeah, somewhat. Back on a trailer bed. We started
Oh, wow.
out on a we started out on a trailer bed, and it was at a biker party.
No, yeah.
And it started raining, so they made us bring all the equipment inside and put the show on in the pop-ups.
You gotta admit, those kind of venues are a whole lot of fun.
Standing face to face,
Hey, Charlie.
right up to your microphone, and you're right up by your amp playing songs with these heavy bikers, right? That was a pretty crazy party.
I did a mini festival out in Oklahoma at a little biker bar on the border, way out in the middle of nowhere. It was a whole lot of fun because, things just don't work the same. You could get away with a whole lot more. And then that could also be a problem. You could get away with a whole lot more. People get pretty rowdy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. You need the bikers to security that. And if they're the ones drinking, then, oh man, that doesn't work. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I'd like to see some underground stuff happen and blow up here. I know, Charlie, you got an event coming up very soon.
Yeah. October 18th, we're playing with Flotsam and Jetsam here at
Nice.
89th Street. Yeah, those
Yeah.
guys rock.
Yeah.
We were supposed to play with them. It got canceled by the pandemic at a festival.
Yeah. Pandemic.
I
Fucking
love
suck.
that about my show is that how many people have actually supposed to play together, have played together, have known each other, know Lips, have played open for Lips. He doesn't always remember them, but he gets there. 'Cause, I mean, you've done so many shows, Lips, but it just accidentally seems to happen like that. That's really cool, guys. Where were you guys supposed to play together?
You mean us and Flotsam?
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. No, I thought you and Charlie. That would have just been.
Yeah, we were supposed to
Still
play a
sexy.
festival in Illinois with Flotsam and Jetsam and Guar, and it was
Wow.
like the
I knew that was
it
gonna
was
be
like the September of the pandemic, like last September, and they tried to keep that festival going until the bitter
Yeah.
Dang.
end. But all the bands, Flotsam and Guar, pulled out, and so that was the end of it.
Yeah.
And that's, where it's been at. We were trying to look at festivals, drive-in events, all the way through. The minute you start to plan something, the pandemic would change it. They can't be insured for this. The numbers would change. It is like the hardest thing in the world right now to do any sort of promotion or event planning that isn't just a stable, regular location that you have access to, like, Ashley does. And I think it's a shame. I really want to see something birth out of Canada, a really epic metal festival. Like, let's start something, Ben and I were talking about how to do that.
Yeah. We're actually talking about like realistic ways of putting something together. We kind of came around to some ideas, and one of the ideas was trying to find a band that would draw, or a few bands that would draw, that would be willing to that we could pay and try to get people to buy on to the festival as cheap as we possibly could. So
you remember when we went Backlifts and we talked about buy-ons for the first time, and I was like, what a horrible thing to have to do, because somebody like Nathan here,
that's how the business.
It's the only way to do it. I have racked my brain for 2 years about how to come up with ways to not do that, not charge the band to get on, especially up and comers. But
it's not even a question about joining or what happens is the support bands sell tickets.
They do, yeah.
And the way that I've seen it, the bands that get on the gigs that we put on through the States, let's say the local bands, they sell tickets.
Yeah.
They're local bands and they know everybody in the scene, so they can say, come see my band, we're opening for Anvil. And that's a huge help. They're not
exactly.
We're helping sell tickets. That's what that is.
Dude,
that's
I
sort
camped
of
out on a
the
guitar.
buy-on works. And if you as a support band go out and bring ticket sales for a promoter, he'll have you on the bill. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
You're right, Ben. That's really the way we have to do it. And we were thinking about pulling,
I can give you names of clubs already that do all that. But that's the way that it works. That you get, if you're a good support band, you're a support band that does just that, goes out and sells tickets for the promoter. The promoter is the support band. So you sell this black of tickets, and you got the gig.
I think that if we had the right support to that level of things, when bands go to play festivals, they go to play things, there isn't any radio support, there isn't any advertising promotion, in the sense that it's all sort of placed on those supporting bands' heads to do that, and that's a stress. I think that that aspect of it's got to change a little.
Right. Well, one of the things that makes this different, and I don't want people to confuse this, is that buying onto a tour is probably, if you're ready, you have the music behind you, you have the show prepared, that's the best way to get yourself out there in the fastest. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're not prepared and you're not ready, then you can't do that. And you don't want to get confused with these small clubs that are saying, here's 100 tickets to sell all of them.
Yeah,
and
because
then anything you sell after that, you can keep the profit. But if you don't sell all the 100, you guys have to pay us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
That is pay to play. So there's a difference between buy-ons and pay to play.
Pay to play is probably the sickest thing that has affected our industry in a long time. I really just hate those three words put together, truthfully. But I mean, we were talking, Ben, I called one of the iconic places here, and they're 3.5 years out to book.
Well, that festival, what you're talking about, it's way different when you're talking about a festival put on by musicians than playing a show at a club. It's a big difference, when everybody pitches in together to make the best product possible.
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's a whole different story.
I am gonna reach out to the Pure Steel Network a little bit more, as they do a Pure Steel Festival as well, and just try and pull as many of these new people that I've met and these old people and see what we can really do here, because I think more people working together, the better. The hardest thing is getting promoters to work together.
I had some crazy stories about that.
I have some horrible stories, and I just, to weed them out, to find the real good people to work with. Lips, I think when we started this, you said there's 200 people in the world you need to know, and that's it. And I'm like, no way. And I'm like, yeah, it's true. It's kind of true. It's a shark eat shark world out there, and it's turned people vicious, and it really is hard. So
Yeah.
I think you're right, Joe. Bands got to work together, and they gotta help each other. Yeah.
And back in the 80s, it really seemed like bands were out to get each other. Headline. I opened for bands before that pretty much tried to sabotage our show to make themselves look better. And now that we've gotten older, and the real musicians are the ones who are still left standing, when they're older, like me and Lips, they're more about working together to put on the best show possible for the fans and not worried about this stupid little petty bullshit about who's band better than, who gets more applause. Fuck it. It's for the fans.
Yeah. I think Lips is one of the most humble people I've ever met, and he's been willing to network and do so much. Yeah.
The truth is, I've done literally thousands of shows, and there's been also hundreds, if not also thousands of shows where we've had support bands. In all the years of all the support bands, had one night where there was no tour manager, there's no anybody there didn't even have a sound man there, but it's still our show. All the tickets are sold to see us, the whole 9 yards. The sound man had just finished doing our sound, and of course we're struggling to get it correct. And one of the members from one of the support bands comes in and goes, "You give us the microphones off of Rob's drum set right now for sound check." And I'm just going, we're not going to, you can't do that. You can't move anything.
Yeah.
Go talk to the sound man. What are you coming to me?
Support band said that.
Yeah, the support band guy started freaking out on me that I should give him the microphone.
It's horrible.
Tell the sound man to do their sound, and it's like, no, we're not going to change anything for your band. It's not your show. Go talk to the sound man and get him to set you up and sound check you. What are you coming to me for?
Yeah.
Wow.
You gotta take the mics off the drum set. I go talk to the sound man. I'm not the person to talk to.
We played
fucking ballistic on it, right?
Man, we supported a pretty big band. I won't mention the name, but they wouldn't allow the support bands to have any. They were only allowed 4 places on the board for mics.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And you don't complain, you don't bitch, you don't say nothing. We just got up there and kicked ass, had a great show. Fuck it. You do what you got to do.
And that's the difference between ego and humility, and I think that's what makes you guys succeed for as long as you do. Lips, everybody you've introduced me to is of that caliber and of that heart, and has had a long career because of it.
I mean, there's always going to be things that happen.
Yes.
When I've done tours, all I brought with me was my pedal board.
Wow.
Because every night was a different amp.
Wow.
Different amp, didn't matter. And I had to plug into something and play.
Yeah. You play. That's what you're there to
It's
do.
like, what is there to talk about?
No,
It's like there's nothing to talk about. My sound is essentially coming out of this piece of equipment, and I'm going to use your piece of equipment to project it, and that's the way to look at it. You can't start going, well, it's not a Marshall, so therefore I'm not doing the show.
We had somebody do that one time, a big name band back in the 90s that I played with, Ida Mesa Boogie Full Stack.
you can name names.
You can name names.
You can name names.
They
I'll
were
tell
gonna
funny.
use our gear, and the guitar player refused to use my Mesa, and made the sound man at like 8 o'clock run out and try to rent him out of Marshall.
You know, it's, oh my God.
Hell no.
Lips, it's funny. When I met Lips for the first time, I did my interview with him on the radio show. And at the very same time, I met Brian Vollmer. Okay. There's a 35-year story to that.
4
stuff.
minutes left.
4 minutes left, 4 minutes. But
Oh,
it was an
shit.
argument over who had to move their drum kit. And I heard it from both sides because I went and did my first live interview with Brian Vollmer, which I have to say, Lips, yeah, that man is an interesting ego to say the least. And I didn't care for it. I brought merch that was signed, got it free from the local radio store here in London. They had stacks of them too, right? He's like, yeah, here, take it, right? I bring it to his house and I say, could you re-sign it to me and I'll donate it for charity when I do my show. He goes, I don't have that one. Can I have it?
Wow.
I'm like, I guess so. Then he goes, I'll bring you some merch to replace it. He couldn't find my house. He calls me up yelling at me. I've wasted a whole fucking day on this. I don't have fucking time for this. I have I have a helicopter coming to take me to do a fucking whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. Then he calls me up 10 minutes later apologizing that he freaked out on me, that he lost his phone and couldn't find my house. And I haven't heard boo from him since. So, you know, I think that humility goes a long way and the reputation precedes you. And I think in some way, as a famous person, you have a responsibility to just be a good person.
And this
you have no idea some of the things that I've actually witnessed by some of the most prominent rock stars in the world just because of a certain piece of equipment.
Name names.
Name names. You want to hear the stories?
Hey,
Because a piece of equipment has gone wrong. Either it was a roadie that didn't do his job right, but meanwhile, it's a broken piece of equipment. Whose fault is it? Is it the company? Is it the roadie? Is it yourself for not checking before you got on stage? How about that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that there are so many problems that go wrong.
But I'm just saying, I've seen all kinds of stuff.
I've seen people get fired right on stage.
The bigger the bands, the bigger the babies. You know, it's just
Yeah,
like,
it's true. I mean, Stradivarius fired his whole band on stage. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I've heard some shenanigan stories too. You know, that you just don't think would come from the famous people that I heard about. That's for sure. But I think some of the funnier ones were reactions to fans, you know, in a bad moment. They're out with their family, they're doing something personal, and they get a, you know, a 12-year-old comes up to them and wants something signed and they're rude, you know. But it's a matter of just staying humble. That'll keep you in this game the longest, don't you think?
I don't care
Lips?
how many times somebody asks me for my autograph. I feel honored, and
Every time.
you know, it's my pleasure to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well,
Although when you get out of your car for 10 minutes to get gas and you get back in there and the bass player from Godsmack is hooking up with your baby's mother. I don't mind naming names.
I'm not naming it. I also know a guy who Clutch came to town and ran away with his wife. I mean, I've heard some funny stories along the way, you know, of shenanigans. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for being on the show today, and I love you all very much. And
Love you.
Take care, hon.
all right, guys.
Take care.
have a good